Ladies and gentlemen, let's do the rundown. The series was very one-sided. Before we talk about the series, I really want to highlight how crazy T1's journey has been. They have truly accomplished something spectacular because they had such a tough road. They had an insanely tough road. The implications of being the only team that out of Korea play against 4 LPL teams. They had such a tough road all the way to the finals. You know, it could have been more climactic in the essence, in the sense that you maybe could have ordered the series differently and so forth. But starting off with the Billy series and then beating out LNG, breaking them apart. LNG looked terrible against T1. T1 looked splendid. And then it carried over to the JDG series too. T1, I think, when it comes to like the individual players, I don't think that there is an argument for any other player in each position for being a better performer at this World Championship. I think that T1 was above and beyond better in every facet. Zeus, the conversation of Zeus, right, at this tournament. You have him stomping the Shy. We had that series against Bin that was very even, right? It's like you had the Gragas versus Jax game where of course Bin solo killed them twice and had a strong performance but couldn't win out the game. And then of course it was the Nar game that Zeus played in that series too, where he really drove Bin into the dirt, right? Into the dirt when he was playing the Renekton, which was a fantastic performance from Zeus. In terms of Owner, Owner was fantastic, I think like Wei was very consistent, but how Owner on routine managed to be so insanely impactful in the standoffs and in the fights really made T1 so special. I think in the back of my mind always, I knew that T1 had so much potential mechanically, like raw potential based off of which players they have mechanically. Because like the likes of Zeus, the likes of Gumayushi, Korea, these are the type of players you really enjoy watching in solo queue, These are really like the pro players' favorite players because they feel that resistance when they play against them. But my main concern about T1, right, was in the nuance of how they connect together. And I think that's what made Owner mechanics, of course, yeah, Owner 2, I didn't mention Owner. But the one thing that made me always concerned about T1 was how are they going to piece it together to find strong positions? How are they going to connect with jungle and support to dominate the map? But instead of going in that direction, they reshaped the whole fucking meta themselves. And they built this idea of recognition of how important Drake 1 is, how important Rift Herald is. And it all stems from their bot lane drafts, right? The bot lane drafts, making sure that you hit level 6 on support, connecting into mid, making sure that the game is no longer about 3v3s and how you roam on the map, and more so about giving more freedom of individual expression in the game. And that's where you saw Owner and Korea really be in their element, where they have that element of freedom. And I think that freedom came from how they reshaped the game in terms of the draft. If we summarize this World Championship in terms of the meta that T1 really shoehorned in, because I assure you, if T1 was not at this tournament, it would have been melee, we would have seen Kai'Sa, Xayah permaban. I think we would have still seen these champions. Without T1, we wouldn't have seen this shift, which I think is important, very important to highlight. Similar to DRX, right? Beryl was very, very important in pushing that idea forward, right? In terms of the Caitlins, in terms of the Bards and the Heimerdingers, you know, being the first mover is a very, very big edge. And T1 hit all of the marks, right? In terms of like dominance, in terms of like form, winning a world championship, this T1 will definitely be discussed as one of the best teams of all time. Because to be able to say that they had the sharpest read on the meta and they were so far ahead of everybody else. Individual performance out of this fucking world, which is like in each role, you can say that this performance was just wow, you know? And to think T1, right? They came from a position where Summer Split, they basically struggled and bled through it. And it was simply like so fucking sweaty and rough to then lose to Genji 3-0. Where all of the issues that I was worried about T1 really highlighted themselves. But the main thing that separated T1 from the other LCK teams was that they were very, very capable of fighting the LPL teams on their ground when it came to pacing of the game and also in terms of objective setup. And this is where T1 were always competitive. But then the question was always, how did they get to that point? How did they get to that point? And they figured it out in such a beautiful way. I look forward to studying T1 and learning as much as possible and to really digest what they've done and how you can transfer that over into the next season. Is going to be very, very exciting. The future. T1 was stomping G2 in scrims. T1 has always been a fantastic scrim team. I don't think that's... like, let's not talk about the scrim thing. Like, I think that's such a boring topic to talk about, scrims. Very, very boring to talk about. Someone asked before, like, do you think that Genji would beat T1? No, I think T1 would annihilate Genji. Annihilate them. They would break their bones. I don't think that there is any team that comes close to what T1 was and T1 is at this tournament. I think it's like, when people say that the LPL are frauds, it's like, the entirety of LPL was second. I think that T1 should really be fucking celebrated for what they've achieved and their form, right? Because their form is immaculate. Like this will open up a conversation about this maybe being one of the best teams of all time. Like in terms of a performance at a tournament. And I think the main thing here, right, is that when people say that LPL are frauds and they are shit, they just take away from what T1 has accomplished. You really take away from what T1 has accomplished. LPL is overrated. Dom doesn't even watch LCK. Well, I think it's like, what are the second best teams of these tournaments? It's like, yeah, LPL was good. They were the runner-up. LPL was plain and simple the runner-up, right? It's like 4 versus 1 has to happen in a certain way, guys. It has to happen in a certain way. And I think to talk down LPL now, it just takes away from what T1 has accomplished.
Battle
like,
cruiser operational.
T1 was fantastic. T1 was amazing. I'm really curious what's gonna come next. No, I watched LCK and Dom watched LCK too. Like, we watched MSI. We watch all of this business. Yo, Hansel 420, thank you very much, my man. I appreciate it. Thank you everybody else as well for subbing. I'm kind of in the matrix. So yeah, but the thing is, Ashera Tepes, just to like, this is the final time I'm gonna read a comment from you. You are jumping through so many hoops. It's like, so if Genji play bad, then Genji is choking, and then when LPL play bad, it's because they're bad. Like, you're very like, you already have decided on something, you know? You've really decided on something already, so there's no point wasting time and breath on speaking to you, you know? Yeah, I'm curious to really digest this, because this T1 team, this tournament performance is one of the best ones of all time, man. What a fucking run, man. What a fucking run. It's like Damon 2018, Samsung 2014. Like, these are some demon runs too, right? And there's some arguments there, but T1 is definitely it's gonna be fucking up there, because it's like, I think the detail here, right, is that individually they were the best performing players at the entire tournament. Individually, they're the best players individually in every position. 2020, I said 2018 Damon, but I think 80 is open for debate. Honestly, is it open for debate after the JGG Ruler series? It's like, for me, Ruler Gala were the two biggest fucking opponents for Gumayushi, and I don't think that they did enough to say have a word against Gumayushi. I don't think it's open for debate. Like, if someone's gonna say, yo, Ruler is a better player than Gumayushi, like, that's a whole different conversation than this tournament. Like, Guma played fucking crazy at this tournament. If you look at the whole year, yeah, definitely I would say Ruler. I like, still, if you look at the whole year, JDG has had a fucking amazing year. Steph Curry Sim, I don't know. I just to make it clear, I put Gumayushi in my top 25. My two T1 players were Zeus and Gumayushi. I've always rated Gumayushi and Zeus. So I just need to make this clear, because I don't want to. I know you're joking, but I've always kept them in my top 25. And people are gonna clown on my top 25, but my top 25 was how well
Battle cruiser operational.
How well have these players done leading up to the tournament? It wasn't a prediction, but I think this part, I think people are going to always omit, which is fine, which is perfectly fine. What is this fucking comment thread? Yeah. So once again, I repeat, it's like LPL, like the teams, JDG, Bilibili, they were clearly the second, right? I don't want to go into a discussion of who's who, but JDG was the second strongest team in this tournament. And I think to take a big shit on the LPL really just takes away from what T1 has done. I think the T1 journey is so beautiful. I think the biggest, most insane thing, right? I think is just Owner's improvement. What a fucking demon tournament Owner has had. You know? It's like, I wish there was like 2 MVPs, you know? I wish there was like 2 MVPs. Because Zeus deserves MVP of the final, but Owner, wow, what a fucking glow up, man. Wow. I think like it's really, really nice. And I repeat, you know, I always try to be as honest as possible in terms of what I see. And I will get things wrong. But I think that's the only way for me to truly build up scenarios where great performances will be celebrated, you know? I think that FAKER was the best performing mid lane at this tournament, but I have to say that I think mid lane was also this is the tournament where I think at Worlds mid lane has been like very low impact. But that's what makes FAKER's like gameplay so fucking beautiful. Like his Orianna games, his Aussie games. Like I think that this tournament, I think mid lane was very weak. Other thing is like in the conversation of who comes after FAKER, it's legit. It has to be like BDD. It has to be Knight. It's like Knight still had some fucking good games, guys. Besides the JDG series, you know. It's like FAKER is first, and then it's like BDD, Knight, fucking Showmaker, Chovy, you know. What role is the most important in the world? It's kind of weird because it works like this, right? It works like this. It's like the meta right now is bot gets you through the door. It gets you through the door. Jungle helps you with that door. Behind this door, okay, there's like hinges, the door is open and you see the sun is shining in, you know, and there's a path, you know. Behind this door is top lane. And mid lane is the egg. Support to see it with bot. So basically it's like bot lane, if you're capable of playing like all of the bot lane meta and you can fucking really like pop off and you can like have lane prio, it secures you Drake 1, Rift Herald 1. And then top laners that have this type of setup, like top lane 1 core, 2 core, like these champions are so OP. Like think about the top lane champs when they get 2 items. Rumble, Aatrox, like Kesante, like all of these fucking champions are absolutely crazy. And I think people figured out in terms of mid, right? Mid became less important because bot lane doesn't have time to pressure 3v3. Yeah, Jace, Gwen, like you can say a bunch of top laners, right? Jace maybe not as much. So it's like when we define importance here, right? It's like probably starting on the lane that gets you through the door. because of like Drake 1, level 1. Like, this is a very big important part of the game. But then after on Drake 2, that's where top lane comes online. It becomes strong. And mid lane becomes strong. And jungle becomes strong. You know? So it's like in terms of like your role importance, the main thing I wanted to highlight is like I felt like at this Worlds, I feel like mid lane has not been as important as it was in for example last year. Like last year, mid lane was insanely important. It was so important. Beryl never lane bot. You know, he never lane bot and he fucking peaced out and go mid. You know. So after the minion change, it's like the biggest impact games we saw at this on average on mid were just the Orianna games. And then Faker, the outlier, playing Azir, and then Nico. But these are 3 champs that were banned very often, right? Very, very often. No, I don't think that Faker injury or not, like obviously maybe it changes something, maybe it doesn't. But I think that for me, from outside, obviously I don't know for sure, but I think that the injury was the best thing that happened to them. I think the injury was the best thing that happened to them. Faker got a break, the players got perspective, and they could really restructure themselves. So I think the injury was the best thing that happened to them, right? It's like, you know, one of those moments. It's like sometimes you need to see what you have by not having it for a little bit. You need to miss it a little bit, and then Faker actually like taking a break. You know, I think that's interesting. But then again, right? It's like if we look at the game that they lost at Worlds to Genji, they were not in that headspace yet, right? It's like this is something that they developed over time. But remember, they played Alistar and they played Kai'Sa. They weren't there yet. They were not there yet in their headspace. I'm really curious to see the documentary, because I'm curious if it was after this Genji loss, they were like, fuck this shit. Fuck this shit. Let's fucking switch it up. And then the next game, they're playing Bard. And then they bled into the T1 in this series too, right? Jinx, Tam, Senna, Tam. Didn't Genji beat them in this meta at the start of the year? It wasn't this meta. Lulu Yumi meta is a different meta. Lulu Yumi is not quite the same. But this game highlighted really well my concerns with T1. Really highlighted it well. Because in this one, jungle and support needed to connect to dominate the map. And they just didn't, you know? They just didn't. And they couldn't cover Faker on side and so forth. It was a very problematic thing. Obviously as well, it's like giving Delight Rakan and then Zaya Rakan Rumble, that's a monster 1-2-3. It's like this 1-2-3 is so strong that it doesn't matter that Peanut was a piece of shit on Kha'Zix. Yeah. And this was the what I saw. This game is what I saw the entire summer. And I think that KT versus T1 was such a bad matchup for KT, because T1 is the type of team that you need to beat a couple of times. While KT were very bad at closing out games. Yeah, they were the best during summer's regular season because they just had the strongest early game. But they built a habit of having two big leads in order to close out games, and they didn't build stronger habits because Katie just plain and simple, like even at this tournament, had fucking best early games. Maybe T1 broke that apart later, right, when they switched up the draft. But while we were in a different pocket, KT was really fucking insane. Okay. Gumiushi deserved top 25. At least that's my take. It's like based off of summer performance. It's like, I think the main reason I looked at it, my reasoning was simple. I looked at why did the teams qualify to Worlds? That was my criteria, right? I said it time and time again in my video, but people like to omit this when they take a big shit on my top 25, which is okay. I don't mind. But I kept saying, my criteria was, how did these teams qualify? And for me, it was Zeus and Gumiushi. Zeus and Gumiushi. I think it was wrong to put Gala above Pace and Guma. I don't think so. Like, based off of my criteria. You guys might have different criteria, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine. But based off of my criteria, Gala was insane in the LPL and in the movement, you know? I think Gala, bro, like when Gala was laning with a real support, he was winning MSIs and shit, bro. It's like, I don't think Korea had a strong summer, you know? I did say that Zeus has the potential to be the best player in the world, you know? Like, Zeus and Bin Vods is my guilty pleasure. I've watched almost every solo queue of Zeus. It's my guilty pleasure. Yeah, like Korea really struggled in the melee support meta, not because he was mechanically bad, because mechanically he played those champions really good. But that's okay. No, it's like I'm just talking about it because my tier list was made of a very specific criteria. But I don't mind at all that people take a big shit on it. It's just natural, right? It's just natural. It's like now if I'm remaking it, it's like my top 5 players is gonna look really fucking different. Okay? It's like the meta shift makes it look different. It's like I'm gonna put mid laners a lot lower. Like I rated mid laners super high coming into the tournament. But all of my top mid laners are just fucking dropping down, you know? And it's like top 1, I would put like Zeus, and then like Gumiushi, Korea, you know? And it's like, that's my top 3, and then it's like fucking Owner, Faker, you know? It's like, I think that we can have those discussions about post-Worlds tier lists. Let's just break down the series first. Let's take a look at game 1, guys. Game 1, Weibo Gaming started off by just targeting the champion pool of T1 with the Javan, Azir, Silas. They wanted to check out what's going to happen with Faker, right? That was the main question here. It's like, yeah, let's try to see if Faker is capable of playing something deeper than here, right? So they are just T1 bans Nico, the Azir ban forces Orianna ban, I thought. But later, it turns out that they ban Orianna just flat here, and then Azir open. But he prepared Akali for Azir, so he was ready for this spot, right? In this particular spot, right? I think what makes Owner really like a juicer here, right, is the fact that in a lot of the previous best of 5 series, T1 always rotated jungle 1-2. And the switch up here for T1, right, in terms of their prep was that we want to counter pick top no matter what. That was their whole plan. We want to counter pick top. So you see that the draft structure completely changed because they didn't have the equal amount of respect for the enemy bot lane, right? Because they were aware of what the enemy is capable of playing and the enemy is not capable of playing, right? As you can see here, Renata Draven locked in 1-2. Here, Zyra Khan. The whole plan for T1 was to slam full bot lane 1-2 and always leave third spot for the counter pick. That was the red side plan. So they pick full bot combo 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 to always have room to pick for your boy in case the enemy blind picks Aatrox. So this was the whole draft strategy. Previously, they always picked jungle because the pool of the enemy, especially when they ban Poppy, became different. And in this part, they are looking to leverage their flex AD lock-in in the 1-2 to then get the better bot lane matchup. So this is very cool prep, right? T1 is playing against a weaker bot lane. They had more freedom. They pick full combos 1-2. They pick full combos 1-2. Poppy was free on game 3. The thing is, you don't want to fucking pick... like, well, you want to pick Poppy here? Then, like, if you predict their Akali, sure. But then I think FAKER would pick Syndra. And then you're playing Poppy against Syndra, Zyra Rakan. The reason I say Syndra is because the enemy would be just very weak against it. And also FAKER spammed it in solo queue. Akali was obvious, yes. So, in this spot, they were scared. So the main issue, right, that they faced is that they were very scared of picking Kalista with Ashe open because they didn't want to play against Ashe Renata. They didn't feel like they had room to do anything with it, right? So they first picked Maokai and they wanted to try the Jace case with Sylas Azir out because of Maokai. So they go Kalista, Renata, Glask, they go Jace, Aatrox, and here they have to choose. Are we picking jungle, are we picking mid, or are we picking top? Here, Weibo does very good bans, right? In the 4-5, they ban Sejuani Rel, which makes sense. Perfect sense. But then only just picks Lee. I don't think there's other players that are going to be able to pick Lee like this. Like he was very effective in a game that was not super easy to play. So the big Ahri and then Lee Sin. The key thing here for T1 is that they have the Yone counter pick into Aatrox. Kalista Renata, very strong bot. Here, it's like after Ashe Varus' ban, I don't know what you can pick besides the Raven that could potentially contest Kalista Renata. The issue is that Kalista Renata is such a strong combo, I don't know what you pick here. That's the main conversation here, right? It's like, what the fuck do you pick here? I don't know what you pick here, you know? My camera is not in front of the pick ban. You fucking see all of it. It's not in front of anything. You see it. Holy. I didn't eat breakfast yet. Sorry for snapping. But I got this message like 10 times in chat. I got a bit frustrated. Yeah, well, either way, right? I don't think that It's like, you go Ash Varus here, right? That's the play. I think that's what's up. You go Ash Varus. I think that's the move, right? That these bans are a bit too sniper heavy, you know? Yeah, I think you go Ash Varus just here. And then you see what's up. Kate Lux, I don't know. Like, you're playing Kate Lux with fucking Jace. I don't know, man. Doesn't sound super easy, man. What's the boxing boost behind you? It's just a Yeezy. It's a Yeezy box. Kate Lux with Jace is fantastic. Why is it fantastic? They are weak against the same champions. It's like, I think people need to get out of this mindset that that you pick more poke champions with poke champions. That is like not the best way to approach the game, because you'd rather pick champions that are good against the champions that Jace is weak against to mask him, you know? Like, we're not playing Aram, you know? Yeah, but the whole point about themes, it's like champions change themes depending on all the other champions. It's like a champion has a different theme depending on the 9 other champions in the game and also the condition of the game. Right? It's like if you have Jace and you have Xayah, then Xayah masks everything Jace wants to do, and you create, you know, a lot of space and breathing room against the champions that want to fuck Jace up, you know? Like, you don't necessarily like want to pick poke with poke because they're all weak against the same thing. Okay? But it's like, Caitlyn Lux is fine, but in the end, you're playing Caitlyn Lux against Ari showing, Yon showing, Kalista Renata, and you don't see jungle, you know? I think that can be hard. I don't think it's super easy, you know? But okay. We're going to game.
Incredible.
Esports language records. Holy shit, that looks sick actually. Let's just pull up that post. Damn. Holy 1K people on G2 Esports costumes. I think, you know, if we want to be hindsight Andes, I think that you know, in my rundown, I said that the Shy is the way, right? Like if Weibo are gonna have some kind of entry, then the Shy is the way. I think they should have really explored like getting counterpick for the Shy and see what happens, you know? Because it's like people have issue with the Aatrox, but what the fuck do you blind? What do you blind? So if you go Renekton, enemy's gonna pick fucking Jax, he's gonna fucking play fucking Gnar, he's gonna fuck you up. You pick Sante, then fucking Gwen is coming, like, bro, everything is very, very hard to blind. They overvalued blue side, I think was the issue. Because blinding top is always going to be hard. Yeah, obviously Rumble is permabanned, we don't even count them. K'Sante was banned 4-5 every time, yes. But the thing is, keep in mind, right? If they pick K'Sante here as an example, then Gwen gets locked in. But they are banning K'Sante 4-5 here because they prepare for the potential Gwen ban on 5. Because they have to preemptively ban because they ban second. Now you don't see the draft here. So here they ban K'Sante in case the Gwen ban comes in. It's a very different case. If the enemy picks K'Sante here, then they go Gwen. As an example, right? But I'm just talking about the draft, like, it's like, blinding top against a player like Gwen will either way be hard. It will always be hard. There's nothing that is super easy to blind. Unless there's like some champion that I don't know about or didn't think about altogether. So there was no level 1 action in this game because both lanes are quite polarizing. Like whoever invades is gonna be losing, is what I'm trying to say. T1 bot lane, they have Prime in the bush, and a big struggle for Weibo was the fact that they couldn't really breathe bots. It's like Tamkish needs to walk on the wave to hit, but he can't really do that against Kalista Renata. So it's like you have to hope that you have good solo RNG. Senna has to farm a couple of CS because Tam can't walk on it, you know, and it's quite tough. Ona does this thing where he just looks to pressure invade, and I thought the execution here was super nice, where Ona just pulls the wolves, and he holds his E for the potential fight. Here, you see Zeus is just walking down after crashing the third wave, so he just hovers for his boy, while Aatrox is crashing the wave, and they are spotting everything, and then they just complete the situation here. Here a ward gets dropped by Zeus, if I remember correctly. He drops a little ward on blue. This was a good attempt, right? They can't find the lethal, but Owner crosses onto bottom side. The reason this is important, right, is that it's good to look for this dive. Like, they look for E-flash and they look to pressure. But I wonder now, if you look at it, it's like the wave doesn't get pulled, and now the wave is like Jace just gets a clean base over this, so he's very happy. This is tier and refillable. This is pretty good. Here, if Weiwei is not showing on the blue, I think that Ahri should not be dire here. Right? I think that here, pretty much, you like if he just hovers into bottom side, if he doesn't see the Maokai on blue, the Maokai only has the option of doing crab or ganking mid. There's nothing else. Why not your own flex for mid top on first rotation? They don't see any solo laner. Like, why would you pick a flex champion that can be weak in mid and top before you see enemy mid and top? The flexes only work if they have always a good place to go. Otherwise, they have no leverage. Yeah, I think here Faker doesn't need to die. He can hover, and he takes it easy. You know, this is massive because it brings Weiwei back into the game. It brings Yahoo back into the game. And it's really, really big. And here, right, the thing is, I think this is a good study on like the beats that you need to hit, because finding a window to gank mid is very difficult. It's very difficult because Lee Sin needs to clear his camps, needs a base, clears camps again, do Drake, clears camps because he needs to reach level 6 for Rift Herald. So he doesn't have a lot of time or freedom to gank mid. And the same thing for bot. Korea doesn't have a lot of time to impact mid because he needs to reach level 6 by the time Rift Herald comes. These are the beats that you need to hit, right, in the game. So as long as Yahoo doesn't fight in River, his lack of flash doesn't matter as much. Right? We continue. Zeus was like chipping away at the HP of the platings. He was doing a splendid job. Like, now we've seen this matchup, Zeus played this against 369 and it had a very similar outcome. I think this matchup is just really, really good, you know? Because like a lot of people gave 369 a lot of shit that he got his shit pushed in. But maybe that's just the matchup, right? And fair play to Zeus, he's a gangster, you know? Because he has these fucking champions on the ready. So T1, full bot lane control. As mentioned before, the Senatam don't have an easy time. So they're going to secure the Drake over the base of Lee. Now Lee is going to cross into top side, do his golems, tries to reach level 6. Faker now, he has a level 6 too, but Jao's flash window is now gone because of those beats that you need to hit, right? There was no gank on mid when Lee was finished with the Drake, so he just crossed into top side, and our owner secures the Krabby, which is super important. Also Excel is level 6, but Weiwei, just taking it easy. Next crucial moment here, T1 should be a lot stronger for the Herald situation. Shouldn't be any idea for Weibo to even contest. The main issue is that they don't have enough pressure on bot to like create some kind of counterweight measure, because the thing is here, if Senatam cross into bottom side, then Kalista and Renata will just cross into bot. They'll catch the wave. There's no dive pressure. They take it easy. So here Weibo, they are fake contesting, fake pressuring, trying to create some kind of, you know, chaos in the position. Because a lot of people watch this, right? And they say Senatam should just go bot. Well, the thing is, if that's the case, they are going to also react differently. Because Gumiushi and Korea will just read that situation and go into bottom side and catch. And then they get the Herald and they get to catch both. So here Weibo is doomed either way, right? They just have to accept that there's going to be loss at the enemy hand, but the worst thing that they can do is push for a fight that is very losing. So yeah, Yon has full prio top, has a ward, and eventually like Crisp is here in the bush, and FAKER just pulls the trigger because they have level 6 on Korea, level 6 on Kalista as well, and FAKER is just going, dropping his ult, making sure that some summoners are being drawn and used. They kick. They're looking for more. This was a very good timer as well. Like this is what I mentioned in the rundown. It's like when the ward elapses on top side, you have the gank timer. Like this is a window where Zeus has no fucking ward. He just wants to push his wave and go. So Wei found like two nice gank timers, you know, in a very nice window, you know, because a game that should be relatively hard for T1 for blue side early, they've managed to get the gold in the right places. And now the main reason I highlight this is because where Weibo are going to look to convert is on third Drake. The second Drake spawns a little bit too early, so they're not going to reach one core and they're going to be relatively weak. If you compare here, there's a Goldrinker Lee Sin, right? And the Ahri is going to have Everfrost because it's a very cheap mythic. So this Drake, they have no chances of contesting. So Weibo just needs to line themselves up for the third Drake. That's when they begin to contest, because they're going to reach one core and they're going to have all these smaller components, and that's where Maokai and Jace can begin to drown you out. But during all of this, we also have to highlight the souls of Light, right? He has 34 souls. It's very low, you know. This is a very hard time, you know. It's like that they are just rough. It's so sad that it's so sad that the whole conversation becomes, who shat the bed the hardest on Weibo? Who do we blame? Why is that always the conversation after a series? Like, I think Francis as well, mate. Just this is the last time I'm gonna say it. It's like my tier list had the main point of my tier list was to highlight how well these players played in their qualification to the World Championship. That was the point of the tier list. And people like to omit that, and that's fine, I don't mind that. But this is the last time I'm gonna mention it, you know? I overvalued LPL? I don't think I did. I don't think I did. Like LPL had a good tournament. It's just that T1 was way better. Like LPL, they had 4 teams in quarters. Obviously, Weibo, they qualified pretty easy, right? But they went all the way, right? And T1 was fucking amazing. T1 are just amazing. And that's cool. That's cool, you know? Here I have to look at this one, because I really thought that they could find lethal on Weiwei. How could they find more damage somehow? Ooh, I think that kick is just too premature. Oof. That's just a premature kick, man. I was really certain that they could have killed this because the Senna ult didn't matter. The Senna ults were some terrible, terrible Senna ults. Terrible Senna ults. But we continue. It didn't matter too much, but FAKER didn't look too clean on the Ari, right? A lot of bans went his way, you know? Like, if some of the other things went into place, I feel like, you know, the whole banning out, you know, FAKER strategy could have given you some value, you know? You know? But the discrepancies were a bit too hard to accept, you know? Because you are committing resources into your bans, so that you're not going to have bans elsewhere. Which, of course, Weibo Gaming eventually decided to skip away from. All right. So in this moment, I really like this map opening here, right? This is a super beautiful map opening because Renata and Lee have nothing to do on the other side of the map because Ari and Kalista are off tempo. So they just open on top side because it's the only where they can find the play and they find the kill on the Shy. Here, this is a moment where the Shy, you know, it's easy for us to say as we see all the information, but considering his team, knowing that they have a tempo swing on bottom side, they should, of course, take control of River, you know? Yeah, Owner was amazing this World Championship. Really amazing. He's fucking fantastic, man. Really beautiful gameplay from Owner this Worlds. So here, after FAKER goes bot and they just kill top, Yon is already like here. What we talk about, what the language that we had was when someone was hitting turret and gaining value. What we said in Fnatic is, "I'm mining bitcoins." I'm mining bitcoins. We would say it. This was just what happened. Our comms. And the point was to say it is like, I am gaining a lot here. We don't need to do anything. The thing is, right now, Yon and Ari, they're gonna get fucking. They're getting bitcoins here. They're getting Bitcoin acted. And there's no need to rush or do anything. Because TomKench right now is crossing and they are 4 on mid. And of course, you know, like if T1 just kill Weiwei here, I'm gonna be like, yo, Weiwei is just, like, they are just the GOATs, you know? They are pushing bot, pushing top, and they kill enemy Maokai. I would be like, wow, they are just the best players in the world. Because it's very close, it's very narrow, right? I'm just talking from a macro perspective. You can also get away with doing nothing because you're winning as long as you're defending your mid turret. And here, Weiwei, like, I don't know if this is intentional, man. It's so close. It's so close proximity that it's almost impossible to do it. But the cancellation here on the Q is really big, and Weibo getting out here, FAKER not pushing bot, and Maokai also now being in the spot where he can give himself, you know, give himself up to the turret and not give any gold and not even XP. Really big. And we already talked about it. Now Weibo's composition really comes online with the Maokai items, with the Jace items. This is where, coming into the next Drake, they will have fight chances. Key thing here though, I don't like the chances at this Rift Herald because they don't have Maokai ult and they don't have TomKench eat. These are crucial tools, of course. This is a topic for discussion too, where if you're using your ultimate in the window where the Drake spawns, then you can basically put yourself at a disadvantage because the enemy burns flash for your ultimate. And sometimes, just in the short term, your ultimate is more important than your flash in a lot of cases. But the thing is, the way this game played out, it went on for very long, and it played on for very long. And this Drake situation got to the point where Zeus had ult on again, right? And then all of a sudden, the lack of flash really hurts you. And it's interesting how those dynamics sometimes work. Because now in the short term, Weibo should look pretty good coming into the fucking Drake. But if you can get to the point where Zeus gets to rotate another ult, because the whole point is, in the short term, in the first minute, flash for ult of Yone is really worth. But the idea is that you get to ult with Yone 3 times in the window of your no flash, right? So we continue. Now on this spot, right, Weibo's comp is really coming online. They have the right items. Poke is very significant. This is a very hard situation to break as T1. They really need something spectacular. Keep in mind, no Yone ult, Weibo's in position. I think here, when Aatrox walks down, I think it's important that they leash. I think that this, like when you are walking down here with Aatrox, you need to posture more aggressively. You need to leash the Drake, pull it into the pixel bush, start hitting it. The enemy has a really hard time crossing through here. You need to trust your saplings a little bit more, is my point. They are trying to go up here for some reason to spot T1 in this spot, but this is the only pocket T1 are not in danger in. So I think it's very important that you just play off of this ramp here and let your saplings do work, because the enemy has a very hard time crossing here. Now Aatrox walks down, and this was the time for them to actually, they should have leashed the Drake. And they can keep 2 people on mid, and they have full information, full wave. They have Tam Kenjit, and they can take the time and take it easy. But here the Shy walks down, and they don't leash the Drake, and also Weiwei gets chunked. Yone is now stacking his Q on the Grumpy, I believe. He kills it. Now the saplings, they are doing damage here. Still Weibo, they don't pull the trigger, and T1 are really like marinating the position. They are posturing and playing in the pockets that they can. Like Korea finding this spot, like you need to be really, really aware of the situation that you don't want to be in for Korea to find even this position, right? He went over the wall and he crossed, and T1 are not showing. They are really, really playing with the space so well. This is really nice. Really, really nice. The Q doesn't land, which is unfortunate. Weiwei had no idea this was fucking coming. And then the R flashes, and then just because Weiwei has no opposition here, he's fucking running away in the taunt. And the taunt doesn't slow. And the TP from Aatrox comes through. Weiwei's lack of HP here matters. So they force the eat. Korea also use all of his tools, right? Now FAKER also has to ult, and Weibo Gaming are still looking quite fine in this spot. Here, still, looks like blue side is going to take a free Drake. They're gonna hit this Drake from this position and take it easy. But fucking Owner had different things in mind. And then Zeus had different things in mind too. They're just hitting the Drake, and Owner finds a ridiculous angle. Ridiculous angle. This is like fucking Zlatan's fucking bicycle kick against England. It's like someone in the chat said, well, why are you glazing this? This is just a standard Lee Sin play from solo queue. Bro, it's way harder to do on good players. Like this is really smooth. Really smooth. Really fucking fast, man. Smooth and fast. Sure, Rahu can flash, something like that, you know. But off of this, right? Look at Zeus. But during this entire time, Zeus was fucking contesting this Drake, soft contesting, playing on space. And just delivers them. The series was over in this moment. The series was fucking over. And then it's done. The series was over at this moment. I think now the series was so fucking over. It's crazy. Yo, the Clive, yeah. Thank you very much. Now from this point onwards, red side is very accelerated. They can leverage their 2 core to start hitting Nash, and Jace and Senna will fall off completely. Why the whole series? Because it's like they are getting outplayed to such a level that like they had a good position and they couldn't play it out. Like if you're gonna make those type of mistakes or give that type of room to T1, you're not gonna win. You're gonna have to have like 15k gold leads to even consider it, you know? This was a good move, you know? They tried to pressure on Gumayusi that has no flash. They tried to find him. But now it's just a little wallet gap, you know? Because the issue for Weibo is that they can't generate gold. They lose so hard on side because of the Hull Breaker and Ari and Lee Sin existing. They have no pressure. Like the only way that Weibo can actually play the game is if they try to pressure Gumayusi on the mid wave. .369 looks so weak this year. Okay, let's calm down. Let's calm down, okay? Like, fucking, our average esports fan is just a moth, you know? They have the fucking lifespan of a week. The lifespan of a week, man. Gumayusi played this beautifully. Very nice career ultimate. And Zeus on the back end here, just fucking killing Xiaohu. Are you ever going to kill people with Tampkench, Maokai, Senna, Aatrox at this point in the game? I think it's just a question of, you know, the early game was too important. Like I said it in Champion Select when we were watching this live. I said that these drafts are so polarizing that if blue side gets ahead, then T1's champions are going to have a hard time. And if red side gets ahead, these fucking champs are not killing anything. It's very polarizing. I preferred red side because they had the stronger early game champs. In the end, right, I understand why they went for this play. I don't think this is a bad play. I think here Gumayusi gets Ginzus and they lose at Nash. No joke. And I think like looking for this is perfectly fine because the pressure that the enemy has on side, and when Kalista has flash up again, they have no play. They have no play. Let's continue to game 2, guys. Look like Guma knows that he will not die. I think it's just like, oh, he's on the wave. Well, what can we do? And I think that instinctively they just played good. I don't think it's like some rocket science behind it. Alright, game number 2. Weibo Gaming adjust, and now they are going for the Kalista first pick. The moment you see the Ashe, you know that the Kalista first pick is coming. They ban Azir, Nico, Orianna follows, Jarvan, and then Rumble. Very happy that Rumble was power banned. I thought that was like, that would be such a T1 blunder to make, is to give Rumble and say like, we're gonna play Gnar into it. You know, some shit like that. So happy that they ban fucking Rumble. Fucking brilliant. So yeah, they first pick Kalista, and the enemy team goes Renata Draven. They pick Senna. Honestly, Kalista Senna worked fucking well. Like, Weibo's bot lane was not a problem this game. Like, they won the lane level 1, and they really like carried the momentum over well. Like, they had the first Drake, they did a good job. Like, the Senna worked into the Renata Draven. They got a really good trade, and Draven had one of the worst places ever. They picked Maokai and they invited the Sylas. Okay. This is something that FAKER likes. I don't know if it's a question of, oh, we have Kalista Senna, so we don't care. But it's kind of weird that if you're in a situation where you do this span, and then you pick Maokai, and then you follow up with Maokai when Silas is open. It seems like there's a contradiction here, you know? There's just a little bit of a contradiction, I feel like. Yeah. So they banned Jace because of the Maokai Jace combo, and then K'Sante. So we talked about the K'Sante ban before into the 4-5. The thing is, they have to ban K'Sante like this because they want to be able to prevent the case where the enemy bans Gwen and they get K'Sante blind. Because I think that's a case where they would be happy. I think they wanted to invite the Aatrox, always play into the Aatrox. The moment Nocturne gets locked in here, which is a champion that is decent into Maokai because you can block the ult right, and I think on this patch as well, Nocturne is low-key kind of OP. Nocturne is also OP on the patch because of how strong Stridebreaker is. And also is good into Senna, right? But when they lock in Nocturne here, you know that they're gonna play an AP top. That's the main reason they pick Nocturne. Like, if they wanted to, they could pick like a Rel Graves or some shit, but they're picking Nocturne, dive together with Silas, and then Gwen. Another thing I want to highlight is Nocturne Maokai ult together is one of the most broken shit ever. Like, I saw it in this game, bro. Maokai fucking Silas ult combo. That is nasty. It's nasty. It's disgustingly OP. So, a lot of people have issue. Why are they picking Aatrox? Like, why didn't he pick Graves or whatever? The thing is, he's had to blind 2 games straight. He has to blind. In the Bilibili series, when he got creative, he picks Ornn into K'Sante. In this series, enemy went Jax, and that's why he picked Quinn. Quinn was garbage, but it is what it is. It wasn't his fault, to be honest. He had a fine game. Here, Bilibili pick Aatrox on 4. He picks Graves. It's a whole completely different dynamic. It's like the Shy got turbo value in the games where he got to counter. Here he picked Aatrox into Jax. Maybe there was something more to be done here, but this game was about Caitlyn Lux, right? And they lost lane pretty hard, and then Vi was running the region, right? But the fact that he has to blind makes it very difficult. It's like when you blind, you pick Aatrox. And I assure you, if T1, like if T1 were blue, the fuck, this first time chatter is right, bro. This is a message. I think it's a meme. We're gonna assume it's a meme. We're gonna move on. Okay, so they go Gwen on 5, and the last time Zika played Gwen into Aatrox, he did very good. I don't know the matchup exactly, but like you have some room with the W and the E, and then you have lethal, can find lethal ranges with the R, and then we continue, you know? It's like Zika had good conditions. He really had good conditions. I think still that Weibo needed to explore a little bit more the idea of going red side, you know? I just wanted to give more room for the Shy. Let's take a look at this game. This is one of those games where Zika, the top laner, Zika, he played Gwen into Aatrox against Zeus, right? So this was a tragedy game from the Shy, because this draft can be relatively competitive. They trade Flash for Flash on mid. Owner is looking to pressure Maokai, but this is a lot harder because he cannot accomplish much because Kalista and Senna had full prio. I didn't show it, but level 1, Gumayushi had to burn Flash. They had this all-in trade here, and Light just looks very comfortable on the Kalista. He looks very, very comfortable on the Kalista, which is huge. This was a fantastic start Weibo showing some life here. The level 1 is just stronger. The level 3 on mid, Zhao has to back off and he gets chased off. FAKER loses 1 minion, loses 2 minions, and he flashes with flash, and Wei spots as well. Owner look to pressure, but I don't think there's anything to pressure here. I think Owner is just wasting time here, because of course he doesn't have mid prio, doesn't have bot prio, he can't really contest. But at least like this, you know, he gains information, so Salas can push out, and that's it. I didn't like this Kirish's shard thing. It's like something that Showmaker does. I like the Cull tech though. I think Fleet Footwork and Cull, I think is really solid. That for lane, that's really OP. I think like Fleet Footwork is an insanely OP rune for Ahri, because I don't think that your keystone changes your champ that much. So you just pick the one that is best for lane. I think Fleet Footwork is fantastic for Ahri. Because keep in mind, like for the longest time, people just played Spellbook on Ahri because it wasn't necessary for you to have like a keystone of some sorts, and no keystone shifted your matchups. But I think Fleet is really insane because you Fleet auto into you getting full W, get another auto off. Like it really adds up in the harass, and you take chip damage from minions. So being able to heal up is really big. You know, it's really big. And then it's like in fights, you always auto with your autos, you stack it fast with your R. Like I really like it. I really like it. There was a period where mid laners took a lot of Fleet because they really increased the AP scaling to like a fucked up ratios. Like the AP ratios of Fleet Footwork, like when people played like on Victor, it was completely insane. No Scorch, no CDR room, no Mana Flow, no Ultimate Hunter. Do you think it's worth it? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the key thing, right, is that Maokai has no base. He goes all around the world here, Maokai, to try to set up this gank on top. And this is massive. I really like how, you know, Zeus here with the really clean E on the root, which is massive, right? I don't know if they will find lethal either way. It's just the fact that here Maokai used a lot of tempo to kill top, and Owner can just look to invade. He knows exactly where Maokai started, and he just pressures him off, and the Shy can't play. I think Cull is the way I got in queue. That's the key thing, you know? And I think at least if you buy Kirish's shard, you want to try to create a situation where you don't sell it. Like keep the item. Like it's still stats, you know. Like I believe he sold it to buy shoes in this game. So this is really huge. They're pressuring dive on top, and Maokai, this Maokai gank on top got giga punished. Like this is a massive punish here from Owner, because this accelerates his level 6 so much. Like this is like Owner's punish here off of the Maokai top gank. It's like legit Maokai like lost an arm for this. He lost his Wolves respawn, Gromp respawn, and Nocturne's level 6 is giga accelerated. And it's, you know, ideal considering that Drake is not as straightforward because of Draven's condition. Like he had to base and bow to refillable. So we continue to manage to get the Drake, and Wei is very lucky that the crab spawned on his side. When you do objective and then get the crab as well, bro, like, did the Wei owner the series? No. It's not. It's just that I think Wei had a good series. I think Wei probably was the best performing player on Weibo. It's just that owner in terms of like performance really like fucking popped off, you know. So this was the moment where the Shy is like, I think first and foremost, I'm just checking if this could have been played better by Owner. I don't know if he flash autos instead of fucking flash E-ing to fucking CC himself, maybe define lethal, but it's very narrow. Just here the Shy did such a good job, you know. He fucked up Nocturne. Nocturne has no ult. Zeus has no ult. Like he really like smurfed here. And now you can be in a situation where, wow, Wave is gonna get level 6 and then they can contest Herald because Nocturne has no ult. But I think it's like Owner can W like the Q, you know? He can W the Q, you know? Like I think definitely, I think you're wrong on covering Real when you say that they played perfect. I don't think. Like, and then here, you know, the Shy did such a like impactful play. Like if he can catch this wave, he's really like in a good spot, really good spot. But here the Shy walks forward, and I believe that he just wasn't aware of the fact that the guy had W. Like, it's not that easy for Zeus to just fucking kill him, by the way. He has to walk on him, he's gonna be able to Q the wave, he has passive auto, like the Shy doesn't die here easy. All he has to do is eat the Q damage of Zeus. It's not super easy for Gwen to just dive him. But yeah, I guess that as just he loses this fucking Giga Wave. Like he just lost his Giga Wave. Nocturne wasted ult and disaster. And here Kalista, Senna, they have to open on top side and you have this lane swap situation. Yeah? I think he just didn't know that Gwen had W and that's it. Whoever called for this lane swap is criminal? No, they have to. The wave top is too bad and they want to play Herald. This lane swap is good. Like keep in mind, like top wave is so fucked. Aatrox will not be able to breathe. They need to catch that wave and play Herald. But instead the Shy, like here the Shy just fucking dies and it's a disaster, man. It's a disaster, mate. Because he fucking goes bot to die and he gives Gumayushi fucking the cash out. What's he supposed to do though? He's supposed to do nothing. He's supposed to do nothing. See it the same way, right? It's like Zeus manages to outplay it, you know? Like he's just fucking stone cold with it, you know? Because it's like, if Zeus dies here, he looks pretty fucking silly, man. I feel like they could do more here, no? It's like that fucking Kalista ult, just fucking throw everything at her, no? Just fucking throw everything at her. Like they just fucking kill the guy, you know? Just fucking kill the guy. And then it's like, there you go, execute. That's why like the swap is pretty good. Like you have Rift Herald, you have something to do, but now it's like you gave Draven cash out, Gwen died to the turret, and Aatrox is just done. That must have been a call from Light. I don't know, we're gonna sit here and speculate who called that he was dead when he wasn't. Nah, blood. Come on. we are communicating with ghosts at this point. So now it's like the advantage bot is gone. Lining up for this Drake, FAKER has a pretty strong base and they want to play it, but he gets cancelled. I wonder if FAKER completes his base. I wonder if they can actually contest this Herald. I mean, contest this Drake. Because this is a Stride Raker Nocturne finished. in base. This is also Silas finishing Everfrost. I think if they didn't, if they had a better window and timer here, I think T1 could have murdered them here. But Jaho maintains the pressure, and he has spent a lot of gold on these, you know, components here. Spent a lot of gold on components, and FAKER is being lane locked. And I think at some point, Owner just needed, like FAKER needed to base earlier, and I think they could have played. I don't know what his exact goal is, so maybe he's staying for more gold. But imagine here if he got the base one wave earlier, you know, and he just sacked a wave, and then they wanted to fight this. I feel like they could have played. Like imagine they TP here, they Nocturne ult, and then they rock and roll. I think that that blue side can really lose the game here. It's not about fine giving or not giving. It's just that if I look at the window here in terms of how strong Nocturne is and Silas is, I think there's some room to do some gaming here. You know, there's some room to do some gaming. I think there's a lot of room here to play. I'm talking about this because in the end they do TP, right? But the window is a little bit too late, and the enemy can easily walk out from top side, and that's fantastic. Zeus misses the fucking ult too, so there's no lethal there or no flash burn. These Senna ults are really fucking hilarious, bro. Like, I don't know, like if they're just playing on full mute or what's up. Not sure, mate. Like he's obviously like he has Nocturne ult on, but it's kind of funny. Like you can't waste resources like that, you know. Yeah, T1 also really want to fight, right? Because they have Mythic on everybody. They're just so strong, so they want to invite any fight they can take. They are level 11 on both Silas and Gwen, which is a massive difference maker. Xiaohu on the back end there does plenty of damage to Gumayushi, but not enough to find any pressure, right? And then here, eventually, I believe Bob Marley Crispy. Actually, it's a different case where he dies. This was really, really nice space awareness here from T1, right? It's like Korea ults, and then that ult is leveraged into Maokai ult. I think that maybe Nocturne ult could have been earlier, you know, to make them blind, but maybe it's bugged. Like these cooldowns are bugged. It's like whenever there's an ult that you can press twice, the game, the overlay just doesn't register the ults. So it's like Gwen ult you can press twice, Draven ult you can press twice. Like here, like it looks like Draven has ult, but he doesn't have ult. This is the same with Gwen, whatever. It's like here I'm like, oh, Gumu's gonna ult, he's gonna find some lethal here, he's gonna find a kill, you know? Like he's going to fucking find the burst, like, oh, Draven ult, but he doesn't have Draven ult. I usually like the rule that you go for is for every 5 minutes you want to have 20 souls, is usually how you say it. So it's like at this point with Senna, you would be happy to be, like if you have 60, you're happy. If you have 70, you're like, wow, you know? That's like in that range, you know? It's like 20 souls per 5 is usually like a fair metric to go by. Here, you know, the Kitchen Shard is sold to get Lucidity Boots. I think it's too soon, too early. I don't think that this item paid for its value, so I don't like that. Now Red Side is very accelerated and Aatrox is just a piece of shit. He's just a piece of shit. The main problem always, right, is that Weibo Gaming don't have enough pressure on the enemy Renata Draven that play around mid. He can stand on the wave and be, you know, proud and tall, and the enemy can't pressure them. And then during that entire time span, you have the situation with T1 on side, they're going to be winning because they have Nocturne ult. Another nice detail here about what T1 did in terms of the lane setup is just that sending Silas into top is very nice. This is a very nice move. They have the TP advantage, they play into bottom side, and Xiaohu with no ultimate can't go bot to catch it. So they break his ult. They get Xiaohu's ult without using any of the details of their own, and that's beautiful. And then now from side, just because they have full side prio, you have the situation where the solo laners from T1 can always undermine the position and the play of Weibo. And Weibo are always going to be in vision because of the pressure that they have on side. And Zeus does such a splendid job of really carrying these situations because he's always playing in these pockets to try to pressure and undermine the enemy. You always see this arc that T1 is playing through. You see this arc, it's always appearing. Really, really. This arc is always appearing. And look at the nastiness here. Just the combination. They find the CC, the damage. You know, there's just too much gold in their pockets. Owner wants someone to kill someone for him. And now the lights are out. So it's like, walking into this fight, it's like, look how Aatrox, weak Aatrox is. It's like, T1 played the fight better, but Aatrox does nothing. Even Senna is just a target, you know? You're playing Senna after all against fucking Sylas, Gwen, and fucking Nocturne, you know? It's a very, very tough one. My favorite game was the game 3 T1 JDG. Like that was just like Owner's play on Drake and fucking FAKER pulling back the game and Aatrox killing Varus, you know? All of those things were just fantastic. So, the last thing I want to show from this game is just the deadliness of the fucking ult combination. Let me show you. The ult combination is so nasty, like, it's so nasty. It's so unfair. Let me show you guys. When does it come? T1 stronger on sides. The enemy can't breathe. They don't have pressure on mid wave. They one shot the boy. Senna ult comes in. First good one, but it is what it is. Here it is. Look at this, bro. Nocturne ults. Nocturne ults. And then you realize, bro, they see the root now, bro. It's so fucked. It's so fucked. Maokai Nocturne ult, man. That is crazy. That is nice. Game number 3, guys. Game number 3. Javan, Weibo Gaming, go back to blue. Van Javan, Ashe, Renata Glask. They're like, okay, we're gonna play an Orianna game, or we're gonna just pick Ahri, Azir, gonna first pick mid. T1 follow the same pattern. They want to leave third spot open in case the enemy picks Aatrox or in case Ante blind. They really had a good read on Weibo, bro. Preparation, really beautiful. You see the draft structure, I repeat it. Zyra Khan 1-2. Draven Renata 1-2. And then of course Kalista Renata 1-2. They want to leave the third premium spot for, of course, Owner. And they are allowed to do so because the enemy didn't invest any bans for jungle besides Javan in the 1-2-3. So Owner can really easily drop, especially like he showed Lee Sin, he showed Nocturne. He also showed, of course, the Rel and the Sejuani in the previous series. And they're just slamming the bot lane duos 1-2. Against JDG, they had a different approach because they wanted to secure better bot lane matchups because they had more of an emphasis on of course, how strong JDG's bot lane is. Yeah? Yeah, I think the whole blue side, red side conversation was always bullshit. I caught it very early and we had many discussions on my stream about it, but I caught that bullshit really, really, really early. You know? Nevertheless, the first pick Azir with Nico Oriana out, I think it makes sense, you know, pick Azir away from the enemy. We knew already that FAKER's Akali is going to come through. Here at Weibo Gaming, like if you're preparing for this Akali, I think that you should look to just pick the Poppy, you know. But the thing is, if you pick the Poppy, enemy picks Syndra, you're just kind of fucked in the draft. Like, I think Varus Bard as a lane against YamatoCannon is just not enough. Like, especially like you're picking Bard when you know Akali is coming, and already the enemy has like good champs in the Bard. You don't have like that much value with your ult, you know. It's just 8-8 in my mind. Here, definitely, it's like, this was the game to bust out Caitlyn Lux. YamatoCannon got locked, picked Caitlyn Lux and played the game, you know? Let's just play the game. From your perspective, how impactful if you have a player with a big champion pool? I think it depends on how strong the blind picks are. It really depends on how strong the blind picks are. Like, if the blind picks are really strong, then you'd rather have a player that is really good at playing the blind picks, right? Like if K'Sante is the most OP champion in the game and it's just blind picked and the answers don't matter, then you want a player that plays those blind picks the best, right? Like 369 at the Messiah as an example. But if someone is good enough to make the blind picks look weak, then the player with the big champion pool becomes genius, you know? So,
Battle Cruiser
they go Varus
operation.
Bard, pick a Kali 3, like Poppy K'Sante, Wukong gets banned, Jace gets banned. They pick Lee Sin on 4 and they went YamatoCannon. Like, this, let me tell you this, guys. Not a single coach in the history of League of Legends has fucking written down this draft in a fucking Excel sheet or in a fucking notebook. This is the type of draft that happens when your fucking game is, you're just so outmatched and outplayed that you're just fucking throwing something at the wall. You're really, really throwing something at the wall. I guess this is garbage, right? Very similar to this one, right? I can show you a game where I can show you a game where I was in that position. So this was game 3, Vit versus Fnatic. I think this was I think it was 2019, yeah. I think this is the game. Yeah, this is the game. Like, look at our fucking goofy ass draft. Look at our goofy ass draft. Just playing some classics. Playing some fucking classics. But I told the boys, yo, we're gonna, like, he's gonna pick Kale if you go Gragas Yasuo. But you know, yeah, this isn't actually as atrocious as the other one, but yeah, I'm just giving an example. Fnatic wins this, yeah, we got 3-0. Like we were not so strong as a team. This is when fucking Nemesis gets Penta, I think. Should we show his Penta? Nemesis Pentas us. This is straight up Penta. This series was so fucking easy for Fnatic. What a shame. Why am I bringing this up? Pain. It's just painful. Alright. So we talked enough about the draft. Like Weibo Gaming, I said it, they need to win the game before 6 minutes. Which is insanity. To demand that of your players, that's insanity, right? The reason I say so is because at Rift Herald, their champs are weaker, I think. At Mercs, their champs are weaker. Varus and Bard needs to like find roams to impact. You know, it's like at minute 8, if you are even coming into minute 8 and the enemy can like contest, that's like a straight up disaster. Here Cannon, bro, like he pushes and Bel'Veth crosses into bottom side, and now because Bel'Veth shows on this ward, Lee Sin ganks up. And because of this ward place from before, they know that Cannon didn't ward. And Cannon not warding here is completely trolled. Blood has fucking 2 trinkets in his pocket, man. Like, what kind of crack is Blood smoking? This is very fair criticism to the Shy, you know? He's just fucking dying to this gank, you know? He ease like that, you know? To fucking basic attack the dude. And this is just, you know, you're not allowed to die like this, bro. You're not allowed to die like this. Straight up. What is the best 4-5 there, bro? Like with your goofy ass fucking Varus Bard Azir, it's not super easy to pick something, you know. Like he went away from Aatrox. It's like you need to use your bans to set up your blind, and then you just fucking you play like Aatrox again, and you play like Aatrox Rel or something like this, you know. I'm good, lol, Gilliant, but I'm good. This was a neat little play, you know? Kriya on Millichamp, lul. I'm kidding, of course. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah, Crisp, he invested all of his money in Bitcoins, and they just wanted to go for this play. They knew that Zeus needs to crash his wave and push out. He has no flash, and they go for a gank. You know, this is a nice angle. Very hard to read this, you know. Like fucking only Bard can make this gank happen, and if you have to play around this shit as Aatrox, bro, it's a good play. It's a good play from Crisp. The Shy ulted the wave, and Owner tried to invade. Light lost some momentum here on bot and lost a bit of the wave, but he's still fine. Yeah, it's like this game, it's like you have to win early so hard that comp doesn't matter. That's how hard you have to win. T1 JGG was the finals, yeah. I think game 1 G2 could have won against FPX. That was a 40-minute banger. And they were in really good conditions. But after that, yeah, sucked ass. G2 were not in the pocket at all. This is a Rift Herald gank timer on top. The Shy flash comes off cooldown, which is very narrow, right? The little flash cooldown. Actually, did he flash before? Did he? He didn't flash before, right? Actually, he always had flash. Never mind. How far would have G2 gone if they won versus NRG? I think that, funnily enough, like I think that they would actually function well in a goofy ass bot lane meta like this. With the weird supports, like Mickey could execute that well, you know, better than some. Wow. I think a best of 5 between Weibo and G2 would be very interesting. Not really, because Han's pool is pretty small. He plays the right champions for it. He likes to play Ashe. He likes to play Varus. He likes to play Draven, Kalista. So I think that you know, there's some pointers to it that they would function well. He also played Draven, I mean Ashe. He played a lot of Ashe. So. Here I wonder if Owner just held his Q longer, if it would have been better. I think that if like Zeus starting with W, I think is natural too, right? I think here Owner, if he can flash better somehow, I think also like he flashed into the W, right? If he flashed sideways, I think maybe he could live, but maybe Crisp just clips him then with the Q, right? Yeah, I don't think G2 would have beat Weibo. This was important, right? To get the kill on top and the Shy surviving there. Really, really big for the game because then they secure health for their champ. That is Belveth. So they have some breathing room. But it's like this game just hangs on by the thread. It's like when we're watching it on the Ghost stream, we're just waiting for anything to be positive in T1's favor, and then the game just kind of falls apart. Like they need to carry over so much momentum. Here at this point, Belveth is super, super strong. There's no Gold Drinker. And they're looking good, you know? They're looking good. Had some action here with Crisp and Weiwei covering into mid. Didn't look too bad. And here we go. Now it begins, ladies and gentlemen. They're playing like the most fragile fucking ass champions. Like, their comp has so little cohesion that it's rough. This is like, yeah. Not much to say, honestly. It's like the draft is just very, very unplayable. Like, they don't have anything to create space for Belveth. She needs to face check. There's no pressure on Akali or Aatrox in these fights. They have Mercs, and then they have so much freedom to pressure. Lee Sin with Gold Drinker too. They have no ways of actually killing them. It's like Varus can output DPS, but who can really protect them, you know? Like, Weibo look like they're playing for their world skins, you know, in this draft. Look even here, right? It's like, well, look at the island they left light on. Like, what's Weibo thinking here? Well, what are they thinking? Like, look at light. Like, no electricity in this light, mate. Light is just, it's just gone, you know. They get collapsed on, and I think here, honestly, I thought Korea would snap here. I think Korea can snap. I think Korea should snap here. I think the light missing, they would snap here. This is definitely a moment where you snap. Like, he has flash, you know? You can snap here. Like, you are flash, boom, snap. This is definitely a snap moment. But they take it easy. The thing is, why it's so good to snap is because the Varus is like, Varus and fucking, he's in Madagascar, man. He doesn't like to move it. What does snap mean is like just fucking pulling the trigger. I call it snap. You know? Bend and snap. Isn't he scared of Azerar? No. You definitely should snap. Hello, Sancti. I don't like this is outskilled by mercs, bro. Look at these mercs. What can do, man? It's like Light needs to find a way to carry the fights, but bro, like every motherfucker just looks at him and he dies. How can win, man? Yeah, I believe FAKER is 3-1 Azir Oriana matchup. Here, just Crisp, bro. He just Crisp really trolls this fight, but I don't know how they win anyway. But it's still kind of funny. Like here, they're trying to posture, but then the engage comes in, and then he bard ults the Cannon ult and the Azir ult. And then you have Zeus in the Zeus pocket, you know, Zeus is in the Zeus pocket as per usual. And then rock and roller controller, man. And then FAKER had a field day on the back end, boom, boom. All those solo queue FAKER games on Akali, they paid off, man. A little flashy, into Eing in, into what could have been a little FAKER Penta, but then Wei gave birth or whatever the fuck Belvet does, I don't know. And then GG. Alright guys, that's the World Championship. That is the World Championship. What a way to end it. What a way to end it. Is team the most dominating team in world's history? I'm not sure. I think that 2020 Damwon, 2014 Samsung, like they are also in the conversation, you know. I would have to like really look at it deeper. I would have to look at it deeper. I think that Riot did a fantastic job of like promoting everything. Caster June was an absolute smurf in the presentation. I think like all the fucking videos, the hype trailers were crazy good, bro. They were goosebumpy to the max. There was so many great things, man. So many great things. The redemption of the guy that sings Rise, definitely. Yeah, he did a good job of going going for a little lighter version. But guys, tomorrow I travel back home to Sweden, so I won't be streaming then. And then the following days, I don't know how much streaming I'll be doing because I need to work, okay? I need to put in the work. I need to put in work. And I'll stream every now and then, guys. We stay in touch. We stay in touch, yeah? We stay in touch somehow.